I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about for this SmackDown 7/19/24 review. If Cody's going to ask, oh, what do you want to talk about? If it's about last night, BC's going to say not much. If you saw the show, you know. You know, if you actually watch the show, there's nothing in depth to speak about. But you guys support the channel big time. You look forward to my thoughts on these shows. So as long as you're up for it, I'll talk about this show. But I'll tell you, it will not take long at all. There was nothing of substance. And we talked about it last week for SmackDown. These shows, if WWE is the vehicle on the road to SummerSlam, they put that vehicle on cruise control. If the WWE plane is coming into Cleveland for SummerSlam, they put that plane on autopilot. Because this is not SummerSlam build, the second biggest event of the calendar year. Last week, we raised great concerns with that show and the lack of creativity and the lack of build. This week, they corrected nothing. And it left a lot of fans trying to grasp for any semblance of positivity. Well, at least Raw's better. BC, at least we still have Raw. But first and foremost, that's setting the bar very low. And secondly, I'm still trying to find, after this week's Monday Night Raw, what was better. I mean, Sonya Deville defeated Zelina Vega in 60 seconds Monday. Chance and Carter were defeated by Baszler and Zoe. Sheamus beat Bronson Reed. Damian Priest chokeslam and beat Braun Strowman. Bo Dallas got his butt whooped, and you had a DQ finish in the main event with Sammy and Dragunov. And you had the aerial camera shot of Braun Breaker, the aerial camera of him doing his little spear. Every week you get the same camera shot now. At what point is it just a redundancy? And that was Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley was the big storyline. Oh, Dominic, he's going to be in the doghouse. No, she was a little upset with him. Then they hung out in the clubhouse while Dominic tried to apologize for 3 straight hours. It's like high schoolers arguing at lunch. That was Monday Night Raw. So let's not, if it's better than SmackDown, we have to ask, where's the bar at that point? And should it be raised? This show, if you actually saw it and you're honest, this show, 2 weeks from SummerSlam, wow, not good. I was waiting the whole 2 hours. I'm like, there's got to be something big, right? And I think they were thinking the main event, after the main event, when they do the bloodline beatdown for the 86th week in a row, it seems. Get the commentary table ready, because somebody's going through. That's how you end SmackDown these days. Commentary table is going to get shattered. Maybe they thought that this beating is going to be so badass that that's what everybody's going to talk about. The rest of the show we don't have to worry about. Maybe that's what they were thinking. We're going to go over it right now, because again, none of this SmackDown and Raw. I'm not giving Raw that much more leeway. I know a lot of fans are. So if you think it's better than SmackDown, that's your prerogative. Much respect, however you feel about it. But I'm putting Raw in the same. It's all going. All these eggs are going in the same basket. There just seems to be a lack of a pulse in that company right now creatively. And you see last night when Kevin Owens was going through, you know how they like to do the long steady cam shot? So you start in the locker room or the corridors and they follow you through Gorilla, and then they follow the wrestler out of the curtain when the music hits. Guys, you see Gorilla last night and it was just it was sad. The Gorilla position used to have life in it, man. It was vibrant. You just had a referee kind of waiting around for the next match. Tucked in the corner, you see Hunter Hearst Helmsley, like it's the last place he wants to be. Literally, he looks so sad and depressed. He's just like, oh man, can we just get this show done? I mean, the Gorilla position had no life to it, and I guess it just that translated into the product itself. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It just had no pulse. It was a lifeless show. It had no energy, no substance. Tell me how you really feel about it, BC. Well, let's talk about it. Let's see. Maybe, listen, we slept on it. Maybe maybe I'll think a little bit differently than what I put down in the notes. And this is literally just one page of notes. That's never good. I always tell you guys, a proper review and critique of a channel, for a show, you should always have, per hour of wrestling, you should always have a good page at least of substance to talk about. It's never good when you have a 2-hour show in one page. There's been Raws in the past I've had one page. So here you go, guys. Let's do this. SmackDown 7/19/24. You know, it wasn't long ago. Half the fan base, bare minimum, was pleading, begging for Roman Reigns to be taken off their television sets. No connection. They felt he was forced. The machine was backing Roman. The fans weren't buying into it. And here we are, 2 weeks before SummerSlam 2024, and WWE has fans in totality nearly in totality, pleading and begging for Roman Reigns to return. That should tell you how far this product has fallen once again. When they're begging for Roman to come back. Even when Cody Rhodes is out there. We want Roman, they're claiming. Let's talk about it, man. SmackDown 7/19/24. So Cody Rhodes starts this show. Okay, he's one of the big double main events at SummerSlam. Him and Solo Sikoa. Some of you guys are cool with that, right? Because it's all for Roman to come back anyway. So the general consensus for those that are okay with this match is, hey, no harm, no foul. It's just to get Roman back. And then there's a lot of fans like BC. It's like, all right, there's a million ways to bring Roman back, but you don't waste one of your 2 SummerSlam main events on a guy who lost 41 matches in a row, and then you pluck him into a main event for a title at SummerSlam. It just doesn't, just because he's now the leader of a bunch of new guys to WWE. It doesn't translate. Much respect to Jacob Fatu and the boys. But they're all brand new, and now Solo, because he's the veteran at just 2 years, right? He's been on the main roster maybe 2 years-ish, if even. But because all these new guys are there, he's now in the front of that pack, and he's going for the title. No, a lot of fans like BC, we want more substance to it. Tell us, give us more of a reason so that when Solo comes through that curtain at SummerSlam, there's a feeling behind it, right? This is must-see. Otherwise, Cody versus Solo. Listen, if that's on Raw, SmackDown, or a house show live event, I'm probably not paying too much for that match. So Cody comes down. I'm like, good. Something big has to be. It's 2 weeks before SummerSlam. Something big they have to have planned now for Cody and Solo in this segment. Started off hot, keep going back to it throughout the night, and at the end, a big cliffhanger. No Solo, no nothing. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller come to the ring. They say some words, something. Maybe there was physicality, I believe. Yeah, I think Theory. There was just this whole segment was to get to a tag team match later in the night with Theory and Waller and Cody and this mystery partner, right? That's what the whole night, it was about who's Cody's mystery partner gonna be. We all knew it was Kevin Owens. Who else would it be? Just say it's Owens. But they're trying to pluck any more of a rating that they can pull. They're gonna try to do it by any measure. So I get it. We'll just label Kevin Owens the mystery guy. And then right before the main event, Kevin Owens just walks up to Cody. He's like, you ready? Cody's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, there's the big reveal. 2 hours to see Kevin Owens walk up. So that was the first segment. Guys, that was the first segment. If you needed more with Cody and Solo, you didn't get it. You got Austin Theory and Waller setting up a tag match with Cody. We'll go over that matchup in just a couple minutes. That was the main event. Then you went into the first actual match of the night, Andrade versus Melo. Now, for the Nietzsche fans that just loves to just watch pro wrestling matches move for move, right? just do a bunch of moves. I want to yell, this is awesome. For those fans, they're probably like loving this match the next day, right? They're probably saying it was awesome and calling it, do you still call it a banger? Is that still a thing? It was a banger. Whatever, that niche is going to love this. If you need more story behind it, if you need to care more about it, if you need more reasoning behind it, this was just Andrade pinning Melo. So I can't give you more that you may want from this match. I can't praise it anymore. Yes, they put on a good wrestling match. That's all I can give you guys. On a show that I was basically pleading for something to bring energy to it. Andrade and Melo had a good match. Of course, it's Andrade and Melo. WWE, any promotion, they have no shortage of good wrestlers. You can put good wrestler A versus good wrestler B 6 times a night every show, and we're going to get good wrestling. I guess the best way to put it is there are a lot of fans out there that are totally okay with seeing a good wrestler and a good wrestler having good wrestling matches, nonstop, time after time, match after match. They're totally content with just watching good wrestling all night. And that's their prerogative, much respect. But there are a lot of fans like BC, we just need a lot more. I'll give you an example. So you need to, right, Hunter Hearst Helmsley wants to showcase Andrade and Melo last night. Cool. Andrade, you put him in a separate match with a jobber. A local dude from the bingo hall. Luigi Lugnuts gets beat up for 3, 4, 5 minutes. While Andrade showcases everything that should be making him seem and feel special. Andrade, power moves, new moves that he's trying out. But for that match, Andrade is the superstar. There's no flip-flopping during the match of 50-50, right? You're going to be on offense half the match, then I'll be on offense half the match. No, nobody comes out looking like a true winner at that point. Establish Andrade as special. Back in the day, you did this by beating up jobbers from the local bingo halls, from the indie circuits. So that audience knows that's the superstar. And then Melo, same thing. After Andrade defeats Luigi Lugnuts in definitive fashion, Melo then defeats Wally Walnuts from the same bingo hall. All the power moves, new moves, everything that makes Melo special. Now the casual audience can now see that. And in the future, if you build a right storyline, we'll want to see Andrade, this dude that's been built like a superstar. Andrade's taking on Melo, another dude that's been built like a superstar. There's a story now behind it. There's reasoning behind it. That's what we used to do. And I understand times have changed, but you still need that element of wrestling. You have to build up superstars and then have them do battle. For years now, we're just watching dudes show up and they're already taking on the other stars and they're just being 50-50 booked, if not worse. Well, when that happens, the fans can't get behind you because you're mid, you're average, right? You win half your matches, you lose the other half, clearly. There's nothing special. So for a lot of us, we just watched Andrade and Melo in there, and alls we can hang your hat on is, well, it's going to be good wrestling. I can see good wrestling anywhere, man. The local bingo hall. The local bingo hall has tremendous wrestling every day of the week, twice on Sunday. So, yeah, I can't praise these type of matches because there's no connection or feeling to them. But it was a good wrestling match. I'll give it that. Deal? It was. That's all I can say about it. Other than that, did nothing for SummerSlam, did nothing to get me excited for the rest of the show, did nothing to make me want to see another Andrade match or Melo match. But we got some good wrestling on a wrestling show, so I guess that's a plus. Bayley and Nia Jax were up next. This was a split screen backstage, so I don't mind these. It's realistic. Like, the general manager does not want these ladies in the same room or in the same vicinity. So you're going to stay there. You're going to stay there. And we're going to do a split screen back and forth interview. Yeah, like I said, I don't usually mind these. This was not that bad, actually. Bayley. This was the line of the night. Bayley says, "You're still the same Nia from day one. Loud mouth and thinking you run the place. You didn't injure me years ago by accident. You injured me because you're big, clumsy, and reckless." Big, clumsy, and reckless. Now, they took, obviously, what has been said about Nia for years. A lot of people saying the big and clumsy part, that's another story. But reckless is Reckless is something that many people have spoke about over the years. She has injured a lot of females. She claims it's only been a couple. I do want to give that asterisk. I want to be fair to Nia. Nia claims it was actually technically just a couple. But even the wrestlers have come out and said, many, that their injury was in the mix-up with Nia Jax. She was the common denominator. So the two that Nia says doesn't actually add up, because we can literally go back 10 different times to injuries, unfortunately. I don't want to drag that out, though, because since Nia has come back, this is the best version of Nia Jax I've seen. So I don't want to go back into the history books too much, but Bayley had no problem doing that. So I like how they kind of brought a little bit of that realism into the promo, because that was spoken about. When speaking about Nia Jax, that's what a lot of people tagged her as, reckless. WWE even released her. Was it last year? They actually released Nia Jax. They saw that. And Nia has said many times in interviews, she just lacked the passion. She wasn't really fully there like others. Well, then, yeah, you probably shouldn't be there. Again, this is the best version of Nia, so we're hoping this continues. But Bayley, you injured me because you're big, clumsy, and reckless. Damn. It's ballsy because, again, a lot of fans are starting to see like this is a way better version of Nia, right? A lot less clumsy, a lot less reckless, a lot less big, even. All of Bayley's words. So it's almost like she's turning that corner, right? And you don't have to speak about all of that anymore. And Bayley kind of brings it right back to the surface with that promo in that interview. So it's a ballsy move to bring that up and to re-tag Nia as reckless. But Bayley had the line of the night. That was wild. I couldn't believe I literally jaw drop. I was like, whoa. Like, Bayley just called her big, clumsy, and reckless, man. And Nia's face was like, you did not just go there. They would mix it up in a little bit too. A few segments later, we'll get to that. That's when Michin and Tiffany Stratton had another matchup, or another rematch. We'll go over that. But that was not the last that Bayley and Nia would mix it up. That was in a split screen. Bayley would take out Nia a couple segments later. First up, it would be Bianca Belair and Chelsea Green. Bianca Belair pins Chelsea Green via roll-up in roughly 60 seconds. I'm calling it a roll-up. She basically was like sitting on the back of the leg. You know what I'm talking about? So Chelsea's legs are in the air, her back's on the canvas, legs in the air, and Bianca Belair just kind of sits on the legs. So it's a hold me down, right? It's not a finisher move. They're just kind of holding the opponent down. It's a roll-up. That's what BC calls it. So Bianca Belair is just holding Chelsea down, and Chelsea cannot get her shoulder. One of her shoulders just a centimeter off the canvas. Nope. Chelsea Green is not a small girl. She's lengthy. You can get a shoulder up. Bianca just beats her. And again, this was roughly 60 seconds. Flashbacks of just a few nights ago, Monday Night Raw, Zelina Vega defeated in 60 seconds to Sonya Deville. We have to creatively get better than that. Hunter Hearst Helmsley has to think, wait, there has to be better. And then he went with the same finish with the next female match, which was Michin and Tiffany Stratton. We'll get to that again, like I said, in a minute. But it was basically two roll-ups back to back for the ladies. Like, somebody has to be monitoring that, right? Somebody has to oversee that and say, nope, we can't have the same finish. Before we got the Michin and Tiffany Stratton, though, LA Knight and Logan Paul are face-to-face. LA Knight last week signed the contract for the U.S. title match at SummerSlam. Now they need Logan Paul's signature. Logan Paul doesn't want to at first. They have a little bit of a back and forth. Logan trying to go with some low-hanging fruit digs, calling LA Knight the Rock, a wannabe Rock. Says that this is your whole entire life wrestling in this ring. For me, it's not. When I leave here, that's when the big stuff, the big boy stuff actually happens. And I start attending to all my businesses and family and this and that. And he starts checking off all the things that he's currently involved in. And LA Knight is like, yeah, this is everything. And that's why you shouldn't be in it. So it was a good little... I didn't mind the back and forth. The Contract was eventually signed, and then you just had the redundant near BFT, but Logan is able to escape. Again, it's right there. It's not a bad segment. You just need that little extra creativity, or any creativity, and it'll put it to the next level instead of making it forgettable. And they just don't spend the time or the energy to put that extra little ounce of creativity into it. So they just sign the contract, near BFT, Logan runs away, and LA Knight's like, oh, SummerSlam. So, not bad. Could have been good. It was just mid. I was really hoping for a lot more in that segment, but at least some of the digs were okay. Michin, Tiffany Stratton was next. Michin defeats Tiffany Stratton. Miss Money in the Bank was defeated. This was by a fruit roll-up. That's right, the fruit roll-up. And this was much more traditional, right? This was just the go underneath, hook them up, boom, 24/7 title type roll-up. Yeah, Tiffany Stratton, just an incredible pro wrestler already. Just being beat by a roll-up. She's just so athletic. She's got power. And just to watch her just get rolled up. It's so not realistic, man. But, it's not like they were in a 25-minute war. They were exhausted. She got rolled up. She had no energy to kick out. No, not at all. She was distracted a little bit. Because and I actually don't mind the finish. I just wish then Belair and Chelsea Green should not have ended with a hold them down finish then, if you knew that this was going to be a roll-up. But I don't mind the concept of the finish. I would not have gone with a roll-up because it's Tiffany Stratton too, by the way. It just doesn't make sense. You got a distraction. Maybe accidentally Tiffany gets hit with the briefcase or something. A little bit more was needed. Tiffany being beat by a roll-up, for me, doesn't work. Right after Bianca was holding down Chelsea for a victory, maybe that's why it felt even worse to watch that actually unfold. But the finish was much better than at least Belair and Chelsea Green. Nia Jax interferes. Bayley hits ringside to even the odds, drops Jax with Tiffany's briefcase. So instead of Tiffany getting hit by it, Bayley just hauls off on Nia Jax, clocks her clean. And then Bayley distracts Tiffany Stratton some more. Actually destroys Stratton's briefcase right in front of her. Now, that's what I mean about I like the finish. It wasn't the roll-up that I liked. But the concept of if you're going to distract Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, what means the most to her, right? It's that briefcase. That's her whole world. She clutches that like it's her life, right? She holds it. She hugs it. Probably sleeps with it at night. That's her prized possession. So to watch Bayley destroy it, she's hitting it against the steel steps, the post, she's stomping on it. And Tiffany Stratton is in the ring like heartbroken. So I totally believe the distraction. That's always a plus. We see so many distractions these days, and they're nonsensical. They're just staring off for 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, you're in a match. Turn around. Dude's all the way up at the ramp. He ain't doing nothing. This was more realistic, right? It's believable. Tiffany would absolutely focus all of her attention on that briefcase being destroyed. And this allows Michin to roll up underneath and do the roll up. But more importantly is what it does for the briefcase that was just destroyed last night. Because this allows Tiffany, this is the creator in me, right? I'm always looking ahead and creating. Tiffany Stratton needs a briefcase that's more tailor-made to her personality, her persona, her character, right? All those vignettes with her holding those posh, expensive handbags, right? The Money in the Bank briefcase can be that type of accessory. It's just very, very important to her, way more than a handbag. But she needs a tailor-made Money in the Bank briefcase. Like back in the day, certain wrestlers would tailor-make their championships, right? You had a rattlesnake championship for Stone Cold. John Cena had like a spinner belt. There was a bunch of them. So why not the briefcase? Like this is one of those scenarios where even before she came out last night, I'm like, nah, they need to do something with that briefcase. And then literally, end of the match, Bayley is destroying it. I'm like, this is perfect. Bring in an entirely new briefcase, man, that fits her character. Don't be surprised if that happens. Or they'll just have her walk around with this beat up briefcase for the next 8-9 months. But she needs a Tiffany in the briefcase. So that was that, man. Good to see Tiffany at least. You know what I mean? She is a bright part in these shows. Watching her get rolled up. I hope that doesn't happen often. And again, for the ladies, that was back-to-back Hold'em downs. You got to get more creative, Helmsley. You got to, man. Got to spend more time with these females and really care about the finishes and how you're booking them. It matters. It's not a small detail. Main event was Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. The mystery man was Kevin Owens. Wow, I'm sure everybody was shocked. Whoa, it was Kevin. I never would have thought Kevin Owens, the same guy that's been tagging with Cody for months. I never would have thought he would tag with him again. Cody and Owens defeat Waller in Theory. Cody pins Theory for those keeping score. The whole night we played up the Cody mystery partner thing and ends up being Kevin Owens, so that was underwhelming. The match was pretty underwhelming. The victory, Cody over Theory, that was pretty self-explanatory. Cody was never going to lose that match. He had to be the one to pin either Waller or Theory, so that was pretty business as usual. So there was nothing in here. This was all about the post-match beating by the Bloodline. Bloodline comes out, and just like they've been doing every week, they just beat up the faces. And I'm actually okay with that because you have to build up Solo. They put him on a 41-match losing streak. You have to make this dude just the power going into SummerSlam. So there was no other way to do it, even though that this is kind of redundant. They back themselves into a corner creatively. This is the only thing they could possibly do. So post-match, the Bloodline hits the ring and proceed to annihilate Owens and Cody Rhodes. You know, it's an incredible job of manufacturing the need for Roman Reigns by WWE. I will say that. Because that's what they're doing. They're manufacturing the fans to at this point need Roman Reigns back. Not just because the shows are getting so bad, but because all the heroes, they ran out of them, right? And every week it's ending the same way. Paul Heyman is ending the show, getting sent through the commentary table by the Bloodline. Next week, Randy Orton is ending the show, getting sent through the commentary table via the Bloodline. Next week, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, ending the show, being put through the commentary table by the Bloodline. Every week, you're actually getting the same finish, just with different faces or wise men. Just insert new, right? Creatively, it's simple, right? Hunter Hearst Helmsley does not need to do anything. For the next month, we end it like this, and we just insert a new name for the actual person going through the commentary table. But I don't mind it because it's all they really can do at this point. You know what I mean? I see what they're going for. We're annihilating everybody. There's nobody left. Now you have to acknowledge. But here comes, enter Roman Reigns, right? That's what I mean. They're doing a really good job of manufacturing the need for Roman. I think what a lot of fans are upset with and why they don't feel like these shows are that good on Friday nights, especially, is because it's just redundancy. Like, can we have a little bit more? Okay, you want to take out Cody and Owen? Can you maybe go to the parking lot, right? Maybe Cody's in the boiler room for some reason, right? He dropped his phone. Somebody said it's in the boiler room. I don't know. Something, man. But every week the show's ending the same. And I think that's what fans are like, oh, can we just do something different? But I do see where they're going with it, right? They're trying to show you that every week, this is how it is going to end. We are now running this. And we just took out everybody, so nobody can do anything about it. And here comes Roman Reigns. So I get it, but I also see why so many fans are just not so into these finishes. It's getting redundant. For BC, I really don't get the finish to this show is the least of their problems. The rest of the show is the problem. 2 ladies matches, both ending the same way with just hold'em downs and no substance afterwards, by the way. Nothing. Like Belair and Chelsea. You guys realize after that match, Piper just got in the ring, Jade entered the ring, and they just stared at each other. That's the creativity in a multi-billion-dollar company. Andrade and Melo, for no reason. hoping to just get the niche audience that really loves just wrestling matches to go, this is awesome, and say that was a banger. Logan Paul and LA Knight trade some words. And that's it. That's it. Again, you started the night with nothing to do with Cody and Solo, your one half of your main events at SummerSlam. You had Theory and Waller and Cody having the beef. It just doesn't make sense. And that's the biggest issue with a lot of fans. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you on this SmackDown review, 7/19/24. Until next time, and there will be a next time. And again, we sit now 14 nights away from SummerSlam, so they really do have to turn up the creativity. They have to turn up the volume when it comes to these shows and the product they are delivering, because fans are now seeing this. Raw pulled a 1.6 this week. 1.6. SmackDown was flat yet again. WWE has to do better than this. We are 2 weeks away from their second biggest show of the calendar year. BC will be taking you guys through the entire journey, of course. Until that next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we're out. BC saying check you. Peace.